Well, I was raised in a Christian home in California. Pretty early on, I learned how to play the guitar, started leading worship, writing worship songs, and I felt the call of God on my life. So I enrolled in Christ for the Nations Institute here in Dallas and came to Dallas. The first day that I came to Grace Community Church was Mother's Day in the year 2001. So today is my 20-year anniversary at Grace Community Church, and I am so grateful to this church family. I worked at Wycliffe Bible Translators, SIL International, for 17 and a half years. I was working in editing, and I was also the coordinator for the Bible Translation Conference. They had a budgeting crisis, and in 2018, I was laid off. Actually, I was without work for 16 months. The biggest testimony that I have from that time period is how the Lord worked in my life to not be anxious about that. Anxiety had been a part of my life since I was a little girl. In fact, when I was a 7-year-old, the doctor diagnosed me as pre-ulcer. And so for me to go through 16 months of not having a job and to not be consumed by anxiety, to me that's a testimony of what God did in my life during that time. I really loved getting to work in Bible translation, so I was very grateful that the Lord provided a job for me at Biblica, the International Bible Society. In early 2020, I took a trip for work to train some Bible translators, first in India and then going to Ethiopia. When I got home from Ethiopia, I had a deep vein thrombosis event in my right leg, and I collapsed in my home when the blood clots from that broke off and went to my lungs. I live alone, and so I was home, collapsed on the floor for possibly even 4 days. It's a miracle, really, that I didn't die. My friends and my coworkers and my family were concerned when they couldn't reach me and finally called emergency services to check on me. They rescued me, took me to the hospital, and the result of that was that they needed to amputate both of my legs. I was in the hospital for about 4 months. So this was all taking place during the height of COVID, and I couldn't have any visitors. My sisters came and visited, and they organized a drive-by car parade for me, and some of you guys were there. There were so many friends who just drove by, waved. I was through the window, I was waving, and it was just wonderful to see everybody, and I'm so grateful for that. I had so much to learn. For instance, I had to learn that I needed to roll up my ramp backwards so that my wheelchair doesn't tip over. Just had to learn to be patient, to be resourceful, to be determined. When I leave the house, once I'm out the door, I can't reach the doorknob anymore. So I've got a spring that I can attach, and it helps me to pull the door closed. There's a verse that I've thought of. It's in Micah chapter 7, verse 8. It says, "Do not rejoice over me, O my enemy, for though I fall, I will arise. And though I sit in the darkness of night, the Lord will be a light to me." I brought that verse up because one of the things that is actually pretty concerning for me right now is, what do I do if I do fall down? I asked the occupational therapist at the last hospital where I was, and she said, well, if you fall down, then call 911. I want to be a little bit more independent than that, and so I really want to learn how to walk again. And the first step to doing that is to learn how to walk on stubbies. Please pray with me that the insurance company would be willing to give me the full-size prosthetics that I need to be able to walk again. It's normal for us to think about grief in the context of the loss of a loved one. But we also experience grief in the loss of a marriage, in the loss of a career, and any other kind of loss. And in my case, the loss of my independence and the life that I once knew. I just wanted to encourage you, if you are grieving or desperate, there are people here at Grace who can walk through that with you. Just reach out. I'm just so grateful for the ministry of Grace that way, the ministry of my friends, the ministry of the Lord to my heart, to bring to me in a time of loss His peace, His comfort. And I'm just very, very grateful for that. So thank you, Grace, for all your care and love for me. And I had a song that I wanted to sing for you. Be at rest, oh my soul, rest once again, for the Lord has been good to you. For the Lord has been good. For the Lord has been good. Rest once again.